Stage 12 of La Vuelta takes us to Cantabria. There was no stage winner yesterday, although Tom Pidcock and Jonas Vingegaard did gain a bit of time on GC. The Dane now leads by 50 seconds, and even if his team decide to give the breakaway a bit of freedom today, they'll still have plenty to keep them busy.
Today will be an interesting day, like every day here in the Vuelta. There's always something, so yeah, we need to see first of all how the start of the race is, and then we will take it from there. But yeah, there's 2 hard climbs in this stage, so we need to be prepared for a hard battle again.
Today's roads will be familiar for the Spanish riders in the peloton, many of whom have been racing and winning in this region since they were young. Well, Cantabria is a well-known region for cyclists, especially those of us who've competed here since we were juniors. We have La Vuelta S.A.U, a famous junior race, where I actually won the final stage in 2008. Hopefully I can repeat that performance today. It hasn't always been easy predicting which stages at this Vuelta will be good for the breakaway, but teams who aren't targeting the general classification, like EF Education EasyPost, are always keeping their eyes open for opportunities to attack.
I thought there was other days that were going to be a perfect day for a winning breakaway, and then the breakaway didn't go to, like yesterday for example. I thought, oh, they'll let 20 guys go, and it didn't happen. And on that basis, I think make a decision when the race has started and see what the lay of the land is and see how teams are feeling, because yeah, it doesn't seem to, the textbook doesn't seem to be paying dividend really here.
Stage 12 is another short and high-octane stage, just 145 kilometres between Laredo and Los Corrales de Buelna. After tackling the Puerto de Alisas early on, the big climb of the day will be La Collada de Brenes, 7 kilometres at nearly 8%, which will really sting the legs. It tops out with 23 kilometres remaining before a downhill sweep to the finish line. Well, the riders covered the first 30 kilometres to the base of the first climb without a breakaway forming. But once they started going up the Alisas, a group of 25 finally got a gap, and more kept bridging across. It was more like 40 riders as they approached the summit. The best placed man overall was Bruno Armirail, almost 8.5 minutes down on Vingegaard, who'd put a teammate, Victor Campenaerts, into the move. There was a bit of a rumble for the King of the Mountains points at the top. Marc Soler pouncing ahead of Javier Romo and Carlos Canal to help defend his teammate Jay Vine's polka dot jersey. The group heading on to the descent as a dozen more riders attacked from the peloton. Well, among the riders in this big front group were Mads Pedersen, looking to tighten his grip on the green jersey, and some strong climbers who've been on the attack in recent days. Juan Ayuso, Santiago Buitrago, Mikel Landa, Pablo Castrillo and Mikhail Kwiatkowski. The pole was joined by his teammate Magnus Sheffield, with Ineos trying to combine their GC ambitions for Egan Bernal with a potential stage victory.
It's not just about winning from the bunch, but also taking other opportunities like in the breakaways. So I think it's a new and exciting way of racing. Yeah, in order to try to be there in the final, you have to fight in the beginning. And yeah, it just hasn't gone my way to get into the moves, but yeah, I think we'll just keep on trying.
A host of strong riders then, and their gap was soon up to around 2 minutes. The pace relentless over the first 2 hours, an average of 45 kilometres an hour despite that climb. Well, the 12 chasers finally caught up to the front group with around 75k remaining, so we now had a mega breakaway containing more than 50 riders, and that's pretty rare on a Grand Tour. Movistar had no fewer than 5 men in the move in their bid for stage honours: Romo, Castrillo, Hessman, Garcia Cortina and Canal. Well, one of the 5, Garcia Cortina, attacked from the breakaway shortly afterwards. The gap to the peloton was now up to 3 minutes, with the average speed still over 45 kilometres an hour. Garcia Cortina's solo effort didn't last long. He was caught on a small rise just before the intermediate sprint, and by now it was obvious that the breakaway would contest the stage win. Pedersen adding another 20 points to his green jersey tally ahead of Slock and Kristen. All the riders crossing the finish line for the first time before heading out of town towards the final climb. And there was more action up at the front with 6 men attacking: Roland, Pickering, Sheffield, Shaw, Hessman and Gernelek. They were 30 seconds clear of the rest of the breakaway as they embarked on the Collado de Brenes. There would be no action back in the red jersey group, so now it was all about the stage win. Shaw making his move for EF with Pickering and Roland on his wheel. They would soon be joined by another group of around 10 riders, with Soler preparing to launch his teammate Ayuso.
Here we go, the big move from UAE Team Emirates XRG. Marc Soler has put Juan Ayuso into a position to try and win the stage 12 of La Vuelta.
Ayuso dropping everybody except Javier Romo. The two Spaniards going clear on the climb, with Roland fighting desperately to get back to them. The rest of the chasers soon found themselves around 40 seconds adrift. Romo leading Ayuso over the summit, and the two men flying into the descent and looking to maintain their advantage. Roland was still around 15 seconds behind, with a large chase group at 50 seconds as they entered the last 10 kilometres. Ayuso and Romo starting to play a few games, but they had enough of a gap to hold off the rest, and they would sprint for victory in Los Corrales de Buelna.
Romo has to keep an eye over his left-hand shoulder. It's Romo from Villafranca who's going to open up the sprint, and meanwhile Juan Ayuso has got the upper hand. Javier Romo, can he try and come round and deliver the first victory since 2021? No, he can't. It's going to be Juan Ayuso, a bang of the bars, and Juan Ayuso wins his second individual Grand Tour stage victory of this Vuelta.
Well, Juan Ayuso has probably made more headlines than any other rider at this Vuelta, especially since news of his departure from UAE broke. Today, though, the Spaniard took centre stage for all the right reasons. The 22-year-old showing his immense quality to win his second stage of the race, and number 5 for his team.
After such a hard day, you don't know, and I have to play my cards. You know, I had to put him also a bit nervous and play the final case, saying that I already won the stage and he had to put more if he wanted to arrive. Sometimes you have to play smart, and that's what I did in the final. I know this road a lot because it's where it finishes in the junior races also. So I knew how to time my sprint, and yeah, it went out perfectly.
Ayuso taking career win number 16 ahead of Romo, who was chasing number 2. Roland finished 13 seconds back. No sweat for Vingegaard, who finished over 6 minutes back. He still leads Almeida by 50 seconds, while Armirai jumps 9 places up to 6th after his efforts in the breakaway. A good day for Pedersen, who now has a 61-point lead in green. He's looking to win that competition for the second time after 2022. Jay Vine is still on course to defend the polka dot jersey. He now holds a 20-point lead over his teammate Ayuso. And no change in white, it's still Giulio Pellizzari leading Matthew Riccatello by 27 seconds. Tomorrow's the big one, Angliru, which could have a major impact on the outcome of this Vuelta. Don't miss it, join us again on Friday, and thanks for watching.